Hey guys, mostlyhuman here, and welcome to my Fizz guide. Fizz is an AP mid champion. He fulfills the role of an assassin and is very squishy, but snowballs very hard. Let's jump straight in by taking a look at some of his abilities. Now Fizz's passive is called Nimble Fighter. It basically allows him to walk freely between minions, which really helps when last hitting, and he also takes slightly less damage from auto attacks, which is really handy for him since he's a melee champion in mid lane. Fizz's Q is called Urchin Strike. It's a low cooldown gap closer, which will dash through your target if you're close to them, and to your target if you're at max range. It also applies on-hit effects, which is really nice for when you get your Lich Bane. Fizz's W is called Sea Zone Trident. It has a passive effect which will deal extra damage on auto attacks and also burn your target for a percentage of their missing health, and its active gives you slightly extra on-hit damage, and it will apply Grievous Wounds, which reduces healing effects. This is really helpful against champions which heal a lot, such as Dr. Mundo and Nidalee. Fizz's E is his trademark move and is called Playful/Trickster. It can be used for damage, to farm waves, and also for escaping. This is a move which makes Fizz highly mobile. It can take some getting used to, but once understood, it is a very handy move indeed. The first active will hop you onto your stick and make you untargetable to incoming attacks. You can then have two choices. You can either drop down from your stick and apply a slow in a large area and damage, or you can activate it again to move some extra distance, but the damage will only be applied in a smaller area. It also drinks mana really quickly, so it's advised to have blue buff if you're going to be spamming this ability. Fizz's ultimate is called Chum of the Waters. Fizz will basically throw a small fish in the direction of your cursor. I'd recommend smart casting this one, as it doesn't always cast at max range. If you hit your fish on a target, it will stick to them and swim around them. After 1.5 seconds, a shark will erupt from the floor and bite them and slightly knock them up. This displaces all targets hit and is AoE, so it can be used for Yasuo to ult onto them and just general disruption in a team fight. It also has a 1.0 ability power scaling ratio, which means that once you get a few items it will really start to hurt. My recommended skill order for Fizz is to always prioritise your ultimate, followed by E, followed by Q, followed by W. The E is really good for wave clear and farming, which means you can roam really effectively, which is one of Fizz's main attributes. For my build I normally start Doran's Ring and 2 potions, and on my first back I plan to get another Doran's Ring and an Amp Tome. From here I build into Sheen and get my tier 1 boots. You're going to be trying to get a Lich Bane as early as possible, as it is one of Fizz's core items. Getting an early kill or two will really help you in terms of snowballing, and will speed this process up quite a lot. Once you do get your Lich Bane, you are a force to be reckoned with, which is why it's really important to roam on Fizz early. After your Lich Bane, you're going to want to go for Sorcerer's Boots, followed by either Zhonya's Hourglass or Rabadon's Deathcap. The standard build would be to go for the Zhonya's Hourglass, but Rabadon's is really good if you're far ahead. After that, you're going to want to go for a Void Staff, or if you didn't build the Zhonya's, you're going to want to build that next. Your final item is really up to you. I'd put an Abyssal Sceptron here, but you can go for a GA or a really late Rod of Ages or anything like that. Some sort of defensive item is probably for the best, as your damage will already be really high. The runes I use are a standard AP mid page. That's AP Quints, Magic Resist Glyphs, Armor Seals, and Magic Penetration Marks. If you know you're not going to be against an AP mid, so in Champion Select, you can take AP Glyphs as well, which will give you slightly more early game damage at the cost of survivability. I would only recommend this if the team doesn't have any magic damage at all, and you know you're not going to need magic resist. For my masteries I run a standard 2190 AP mid page. Now when you're playing Fizz, it's really important that you always keep a lookout for roaming. Fizz is incredibly good at this because of his mobility with his E, and his cleanup potential on targets with his Q. Often there are times when there's an opportunity at bot lane for a double kill at least, and he's also really good at counter ganking. His ultimate is really reliable for engaging as long as you can hit it. It might take a bit of practice, but it's well worth the time. This will also help you get your items a lot quicker, as Fizz is heavily gold reliant. Once you get your Lich Bane and Sorcerer's Boots, you're pretty much going to be one-shotting squishies. In team fights you always want to look for the squishy targets, such as the AD carry or AP mid. Fizz's standard combo is to activate W to proc your Lich Bane and then Q to your target. As it applies on hit effects, you'll instantly do the damage from the Lich Bane, and also the damage from your Q. From there you can ultimate on your target if you haven't used it already, and just E over them to apply extra damage in the slow. If they're not already dead, then you can kite back, and if necessary use your Zhonya's until your cooldowns are back up. Fizz is really good at skirting around the edge of team fights and picking off squishies or even tanks whenever his cooldowns are up. Once you become strong enough, or even slightly ahead of the enemy team, you can effectively 2v1. It's a nice display of skill and will always leave you feeling chuffed. I'm going to leave you a few tips and tricks with Fizz. First of all, his E is really good for wave clear. Once you hit that magic level 9 you have max points in your E. You can shove your lane in about 5 seconds. All you need to do is melee hit the first 3 minions in the wave, and then E above them and land directly between the 2 lines of minions. If you have enough ability power, your E should one-shot the back line and finish off the first line. This is really nice when roaming, as you'll push your lane to the enemy tower in just a few melee hits. It's also a really good tool for stopping any pushes that are coming in your towers, and will leave you a nice amount of gold in your pocket for minimal effort. Another trick I like to use is to flash mid-E. If you get an enemy low with your combo, and they try to flash away from you while you're about to finish them off in your E, you can actually follow them with your flash mid-animation, and you'll still land on them and do the damage. I find this really satisfying to look at, and it will leave your enemies speechless. Fizz's E can also take over most of the thin walls in Summoner's Rift. Some of these include Dragon and Baron Pit, blue buff walls, and any sort of walls which are that sort of thickness. I hope this guide's been helpful, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did making it. Let me know how it went in the comments below, and if you liked it, give it a like, and if you want to see more, give me a subscribe. And until then, I'll see you in my next one.